What do you think the status of crime is at this point in Chicago? And what could the introduction of some federal presence do?
Look, trends are positive. Crime trends are going down. It's good news.
Meanwhile,
in Chicago, everybody got to get down. Everybody got to get down because they shoot. Everybody down. Look, these kids are running. They shooting. We can't have no fun in Chicago, man. No fun, man. This is terrible. I ought to throw a goddamn flag. Cause this y'all neighborhood.
This might be over with, but I gotta figure this out, man.
Boy. So we got to talk about Chicago, a liberal city that is facing an impending illegal immigration, ICE crackdown / crime crackdown as well too. I think that the crackdown against the illegals is going to come before the crime crackdown. Who knows? But according to reports, there is good reason to believe that the Trump administration is going to launch a major militarized ICE operation in Chicago, okay? And Democrats have been panicking over this for about a week now, okay? And news out of Chicago this Labor Day weekend is not really helping the Democrats in their case that Chicago is not a crime-ridden shithole, right? Because this Labor Day weekend, over 50 people have been shot. I believe around 8 to 10 people have been killed so far, right? In counting. But 50 people have been shot while Democrats are out here talking about how crime is down, Chicago is safe, right? This is what they're saying while you have these types of news stories coming out of Chicago, showing that the city is in fact not as safe as Democrats would like you to believe.
This is Chicago's very own WGN Midday News.
Dozens of shootings in Chicago this Labor Day weekend. The latest left a 17-year-old critically injured. Good morning, I'm Ben Brett.
Another young scholar, 17-year-old. I mean, how many times do we hear about these stories coming out of these liberal cities involving these young children? A vast majority of whom happen to be black.
In for Patrick Elwood.
And I'm Dana Rebick in for Dina Bair. Thanks for joining us. Judy Wang is live now at police headquarters with the latest. Judy.
At least 3 weekend shootings were incidents with multiple victims. That includes a shooting that occurred early this morning in a Southside Park where 5 people were shot. Among those victims, a 17-year-old who suffered critical injuries. This brings the total number of shooting victims so far this weekend to 50.
Wow.
After sunrise, the cleanup was underway in Ellis Park. Social media posts indicated a gathering advertised as a reunion was taking place.
I came on my balcony and I saw a whole lot of people downstairs in front of my building on the side, and then I saw the police had blocked off the streets.
This woman and other neighbors told us the party started Sunday night and the crowd continued to grow.
Oh, it was chaotic. It was like nobody could. Their cars couldn't go through because they were all in the streets and they were just walking around. It was a lot of people out here. It was a lot.
Officers were already in the area when they heard gunfire just after 1 a.m. They found the 5 victims near 36th and Cottage Grove. The teen boy had been shot several times. Police seized 4 guns and took in someone for questioning. 7 people were shot about a mile away in Bronzeville late Saturday. Police say a car with several people in it approached a group near 35th and State. At least 1 person in the vehicle opened fire. 4 people were wounded in a Humboldt Park drive-by early Sunday. Police say the shots came from 2 cars at Haddon and California. Crime scene techs found nearly 70 shell casings. Back at the Ellis Park scene, just steps from the University of Chicago Charter School, residents said it appeared most of those attending the party were not from the neighborhood.
I hope the gathering is okay, but no, I didn't know anyone got shot. Yeah, but it's sad. It's sad. Be praying for them.
There is still no word of any charges filed in connection with the Ellis Park shooting. Of the 50 people who have been shot so far this weekend, 8 of those victims were killed, and that is since Friday evening. Outside police headquarters at 35th and Michigan, Judy Wang, WGN News.
Wow. 8 homicides in one weekend. 8 and counting, right? It's not over yet as of the making of this video. 50 people shot. But yet, again, Democrats will tell you with a straight face, Chicago doesn't have a crime problem, right? There are no issues here, okay? We don't need a crime crackdown. Fascinating. What's even more fascinating is that not only are they basically saying that crime is non-existent, right? It's a conspiracy theory, but they're protesting. They're protesting against Trump, right? So they're taking Labor Day to protest against Trump. I couldn't imagine taking a holiday while I'm off work, right? Which I'm never off work. I always work every single day. So this just wouldn't be me in general. I'm just saying, right? If I was one of these people, I could imagine getting a day off work and using that to protest Trump, right? What a waste of time. A complete and total waste of time. So, yeah, let's go ahead and react to this protest, this Trump derangement protest from Democrats.
We want to take you now back out to Chicago, where demonstrators are rallying in part against President Trump's threats to send in the National Guard and expand ICE operations in that city. The mayor speaking just moments ago.
No federal troops in the city of Chicago. No militarized force in the city of Chicago. We're going to defend our democracy in the city of Chicago. We're going to protect the humanity of every single person in the city of Chicago.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you're protecting the humanity of every single person in Chicago when people are getting shot and killed left and right in Chicago right now, right? Like, how does that make sense? Okay, you talk about protecting people's humanity. People are losing their lives. You would think that, again, having some help, right, with cracking down on crime, that is how you would save people's humanity, right? But in this guy's mind, right, if Chicago is not allowed to be a lawless hellhole, then that is basically an attack on people's humanity, right? That is how ass backwards Democrats are at this point.
Reiterating the message we have heard from him, and already Chicago public schools have sent a letter to parents acknowledging that federal presence could create fear and anxiety around school safety. Joining me now, Stacey Davis.
Federal forces could create fear and anxiety, right? Federal forces, more police could create fear and anxiety, okay? Not the crime, not the criminals, not the thugs, not the illegals. Federal law enforcement could create more fear and anxiety. Again, ass backwards.
Gates, the president of the Chicago Teachers Union. She was one of the speakers today. You can see she's surrounded there by protesters. And Stacey, first of all, thanks for being with us. The mayor's office expects some federal operations to begin as early as Friday. How do you think that this will actually directly impact students, teachers, families in your city?
Well, it's already impacting us. In 2019, we bargained in our contract sanctuary protections because when this guy was in the White House the first time, he scared people. He intimidated people. We've seen the tyranny of his troops in L.A. We've seen the unconstitutional practices of his troops in D.C. What we want to do here in Chicago is protect our young people, make sure our families know that when they drop their children off, that we have them. And so we bargained that in our contract. We work with community groups and families to make sure that we are taking care of people. This time we've expanded that to add constitutional practices because like in DC, they've anchored themselves in black communities. And we want our black students to know and their families that they have just as much sanctuary in this city as our undocumented residents.
So ICE is not permitted to operate in non-public areas of schools like classrooms, but that's with a judicial warrant. But they could show up possibly in the lobby of a school. What specific assurances are you giving to students and to families? What advice are you giving them?
That these people have to follow the law, that our mayor in this city is going to defend and protect and resist, that our teachers, our paraprofessionals, and our clinicians are a safe space, and that they're going to continue to offer that safe space. They'll see us when the day starts, getting children out to school and walking them home, or walking them inside, and they'll see us after school, taking our children home and making sure that they reach there safely. We love our children in this city, and instead of spending $1 million a day. He can help us with safe passage. He can help us expand protections and opportunities for our special education students. We reject occupation and we welcome equity and justice in the city.
And then these people will tell you with a straight face. They'll tell you with a straight face, the teachers union is not political. When clearly this organization is being run by far left activists, right? I mean, that's what this is. This is far left activism, right? Basically what she's vouching for is to obstruct ICE from doing their jobs, right? And deporting illegals, okay? That is what she's talking about. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the reality is that Chicago, if they didn't want this to happen, they should have cooperated with the Trump administration from the beginning. Again, the irony here is that you have Democrats, Governor J.B. Pritzker, who is now complaining about the federal government not, quote unquote, coordinating or working with local law enforcement, when the whole reason why this is happening is because of Chicago's sanctuary city status that basically does not allow them to work with federal law enforcement, right? It doesn't allow local law enforcement to work with federal law enforcement. But that is something that J.B. Pritzker is complaining about, but he's blaming Trump instead of blaming the Democrat policies that he supports. So without further ado, let's get into it.
So, Jim, I want to start with you on what Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker said yesterday in his latest back and forth over the president's plans. Let's listen.
It's clear that in secret they're planning this, well, it's an invasion with U.S. troops if they in fact do that. The other thing is, they ought to be coordinating with local law enforcement, but they don't want to do that either. And I must say it's disruptive, it's dangerous. It tends to inflame passions on the ground when they don't let us know what their plans are and when we can't coordinate with them.
His use of the word invasion, is that how you see it?
Invasion, no. Look, I don't like these National Guard deployments. I think that they should come with an invitation from the governor, as is historically the case. In the case of D.C., it's a little more complicated because it's within the president's power to do it here. But what's going on in Chicago is very bad in terms of crime. It's not a crisis, and I think that the problem is it's one of these sort of Baptist and bootlegger problems where you have this is great for Pritzker politically, and it's great for Trump politically to argue about crime, to argue about invasion, and all these kinds of things. I just don't think it's a wise public policy.
Is it really great for Pritzker, right? Politically speaking, I mean, really, is it great to stand against enforcing federal immigration law? Like, if you're running for president, which I think that he is in the Democrat Party, right? I think a lot of people believe that he's going to run. If you're running, I'm not sure if you want to run as the governor that was against cleaning up crime in Chicago, right? I don't think that that's what you want to run on, okay? If you're trying to win a general election. Now, it might be great to win a Democrat primary, but again, a general election. See, that's what these Democrats are forgetting about, right? They're forgetting that they have to win a general election, okay? And that your record is going to come back to haunt you in a general election when you come out here and you tell us about how you want a secure border, that you're not going to allow the open borders that Biden and Kamala allowed, and how, you want to fix the immigration system and all of that, right? And how you are against crime, right? They're going to be reminded that, hey, when you had an opportunity to show us that you were for being tough on crime or that you were against illegal immigration, mass illegal immigration, you decided to stand against those things, right? That's what you decided to do, right? And that's why I don't think that this is politically good for Pritzker, not if he's trying to win a general election. But hey, to win a Democrat primary, probably good for him.
You were smirking when you were listening to him.
Well, look, surging federal agents, ICE, CPB, to a state that has over 500,000 illegal immigrants in it, many of them live in Chicago. I mean, the federal government is going to enforce federal law. I hear Pritzker complaining that there's no coordination, but I also heard the mayor say he's ordered the police department not to cooperate with federal officials on this immigration crackdown. So how are you supposed to cooperate if the mayor is ordering his own police force not to do so? The fact is you have people in this country illegally. The president has promised since he was running his campaign last year that he planned to crack down on illegal immigration. He's sending federal agents to Illinois to do that. I'm not entirely certain why everybody is so angry or surprised about this. I mean, we're here enforcing federal immigration law in a city that, we can argue about whether it's a crisis or not, but there were 53 shootings there over the weekend. It's pretty violent.
We should also be clear. They were talking about sending the National Guard in long before they were talking about this ICE operation. These two things have now become merged.
He's saying they're on standby. About to say this. What is it? What is happening here in Chicago? First, it's about crime, if you listen to Trump. Now, apparently, it's about immigration enforcement.
Well, both of those things are interconnected. I mean, when you talk about people coming to the country illegally, that is a crime, right? So when you're getting those people out of the country, you're also cleaning up crime, right? Both are basically the same thing, okay? But again, the trap the Democrats are probably going to walk into, because again, they're emotional about a lot of this stuff, is that when the crackdown happens, they're going to make the same mistake that the lunatics in Los Angeles made and start attacking ICE, right? If they start attacking ICE, that's going to give Trump a reason, at least legally, to then bring in a National Guard, right? And that's probably what's going to end up happening. Again, if these lunatics actually lose their minds over this ICE operation.
When you are talking about, no wonder people are confused, no wonder people are alarmed, because if it is not clear what the purpose of these kinds of operations are, people are going to assume the worst. I mean, here in D.C., apparently it's about crime, except most of what we've seen has been immigration enforcement. Now you're going to move to a U.S. city, Chicago, where apparently it is about immigration enforcement if it's the president, but it's not. It's about crime. Like, what are we talking about?
Aren't
it
they
makes
one and
no
the same?
sense.
If you're in the country illegally,
people,
you're a criminal.
No, that's not the same thing. And
Why?
That's,
it's a civil offense if you cross the border.
Oh my gosh!
No, but wait a second. You are trying to make.
If you're here breaking U.S. immigration law, why
okay,
should
you are trying to make. You are trying to say that anyone in this country illegally is some kind of murder or killer. Crime is a different thing. Shootings, muggings, the things the president talks about are different than immigration enforcement. Those are two different.
Is trespassing a crime, right? That's what Scott Jennings should ask his word. Is trespassing a crime, right? If you get convicted of trespassing, does that make you a criminal, right? If the answer to that question is yes, then if you trespass into the United States of America, which that's essentially what illegal immigration is, you're trespassing, right? You're someplace, you're on somebody else's property, somebody else's land that you're not supposed to be on, right? If you're here illegally, that is committing a crime in the same way that trespassing onto somebody's private property is a crime, right? It's a crime. You're not supposed to be here and you're here. That is a crime, right? Democrats can try to semantics their way around the difference between crime and illegal immigration, but there is no difference. It's all the same. A lot of these illegals are committing crime. They are contributing to the crime crisis. And again, that's why, regardless of what you want to call it, immigration crackdown, crime crackdown, whatever, regardless, you're going to have ICE. They're going to be there. And ultimately, it's going to help with crime. It's going to help bring down overall crime. When you're deporting illegals and when you're dealing with the domestic agents of chaos as well, too, yes, that's going to help with crime overall, okay? And that is something that Democrats, once again, are standing against, right? As their cities clearly are struggling with crime, right? Democrats say, no, look the other way. It's a right-wing conspiracy that crime is out of control in our cities, and we don't want any help, right? We don't need any help. We'd rather just let our people die, right? Because that's what's happening in Chicago. People are dying. They're getting shot. All because, again, Brandon Johnson hates Trump, right? It's crazy. It's almost as if these people hate Trump more than they love America. They hate Trump more than they love their constituents, more than they love their cities, right? That seems to be what's going on here. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.